round of applause to Mary Jane, who did an incredible presentation, and Daniel Gomokali. I'm gonna be the one talking about the money. Is that okay? It's crazy to think about, because when I first started this business, my bank account was like Kangen water, negative 780, you know what I mean? I was like a busboy and a soccer coach. I had $30,000 in that. And I got involved in this program in a very unique way. I know the young people are gonna laugh a little bit. I actually met a girl on Tinder, and I ended up at a presentation just like this. I didn't know I was going to a presentation. And then they showed me this thing. I was like, the car I drove to that presentation was like half the price of that machine. And I'm like, I don't even want to see what this thing does. You know what I mean? It's like, this is crazy, you know? But, you know, after I saw the presentation, I'm like, I'm a health guy. I found a way. I actually got a loan with 30% interest to get that machine. Because someone showed me this part that I'm going to show you right now. And that is very powerful, because, you know, I never made money in my life. I didn't have a degree. I barely spoke English when I moved here from Italy. And, you know, this changed my life. So I'm going to show you the compensation program. Hopefully this works. Can you go to the next one? It was working before. So there's 3 ways to earn money into this program. There's commission that you earn by sharing water, like Daniel and Mary Jane said. So you can share the product, and then you can earn a commission. The magic is the override, right? You can also earn money when someone else sell a product to someone else. And that's what changed my life, because I was trading all my time for money. And then there's bonuses. Next one. Next one. Okay, next one. Okay, here's what I want to show you guys. So, the difference between a low ticket business and a high ticket business, right? So when I was working 2 jobs, so I didn't have a lot of time to work on this program, right? Because I was working full time, I was working in the restaurant, I was working as a busboy, right? And I saw all these programs, you know, like those multi-level programs and all these businesses like this, but those were low-ticket items, right? So if you sell a product that is like $50, $100, and your commission is $10, $15, like how many products do you need to sell to earn an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a month? And that was unrealistic for me, because I didn't have a lot of time to do. But when they showed me the high-ticket sales, that was a completely different thing. Because when I saw the commission in this program, with 1 sale, I could earn what I was earning with full-time at my job. And that's why I really wanted to learn this. So for all the young people out there, check it out, because I didn't have any skills, I didn't have any following on social media, I didn't know what I was doing when I did this, but I used to bring people to this meeting. You know, and when they saw Daniel, when they saw Mary Jane, you cannot unsee this, right? And that's how I built my business for 7 years. I've been to every single meeting on Thursday, just to be people in the room, and that's how I built the business. So this is the difference. They patented the compensation plan, which means that nobody else can copy it. And I laugh when people say, is this like one of those scam? You know, like, I'm like, yeah, it's a patented one. They haven't caught him yet. You know, like, what are you talking about? You know, they patented the compensation plan, you know? It's called the 8-point business model. So here's the cool thing. When you start a traditional business, like Daniel said, you know, I know my dad started a business, and it was a lot of money, you know, like you had to invest a lot of money. You gotta have a location, you gotta pay rent, you gotta have employees, you gotta have all these expenses, and 99% of business fail in their first 5 years, right? So here, you have 0 investments. Because like when people say, well, I gotta buy the machine, you're already paying for water anyway. You're just replacing a cost that you already have with a better one, which save you money. And by the way, even if you never make a sale in your life, that's gonna pay you anyway, because you save money that you will spend for the rest of your life. So that's not an investment, right? You're actually replacing a cost that you're already paying, right? You don't have to have inventory, like you don't have to have machines in your garage and you have to resell it. You only have to buy one. Think about this, I bought one machine 10 years ago, and now I help 15,000 people across the world get one. I don't have rent, I don't have employees, I don't have to deal with all the headaches that a traditional business owner has to deal with. And that's crazy, there's no risk. This is the greatest business, because there's no entrepreneurial risk. If you ever start a business, every business has a risk, right? What if I open a restaurant, it doesn't go well? My money are gone. What about a gym? What about any traditional business? If I don't do well, all my money are lost. Here, there's no, what's the worst thing that's gonna happen if you purchase one of these? Let's say the worst thing that's gonna happen, right? Let's say you never make $1 out of it. You still save money, your health will thank you for the rest of your life, your family will thank you for the rest of your life, and that's the worst thing that can happen. How about that, right? I call this the business of the future. There's nothing like it out there, you know? Can you go to the next one? So here's, and I'm gonna show you through this real fast, right? Here's how the company pays. Out of the price of the machine, $54.80, they pay 8 points of commission, which is about $350 each. So that's 8 of those. That's about $2,800. And I did this in Europe, and some people say, well, that's not fair. They pay too much money. You know, I'm like, there's plenty of jobs that pay very little money. Just go apply, you know what I mean? It's like, don't you want to be with someone that pay good money, right? And there's no other company that does that, by the way. Like, you're splitting the profit 54% on a product that you don't touch, you don't manufacture, you don't ship, you don't package, you don't process. All you have to do is tell someone else about it, and you can earn up to 54% commission. That is crazy. Like, even if you manufacture your own product, you're not gonna make 54%. Here, you can, which is crazy. So, next one, please. So they pay 8 of those out of the machine. That's 54%. Next one. Can we make this work real quick, please? Okay. Is it working? Okay. And here's why Enagic can pay this commission. Because most people think, well, that is crazy. They pay half the money to the distributors. That's why the machine costs so much. But that's not true, because like this iPhone that we're all holding to take videos, it costs 30 to 60 bucks to make. And when you go buy at the Apple store, they don't charge, if they had a 54% markup price, it would cost you 120 bucks or 90 bucks or whatever that is, right? That's not how it costs. It's like $1,500. So the markup on the product that we buy is huge. A pair of Nike shoes is like 50 cents to make. I researched this stuff. When you go to the store, if they have a 54% marketing fee, you pay $1. Is that what you pay? No, you pay $300, right? You gotta pay Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Ronaldo, whoever is advertising, right? So every single thing that we buy, like 99% of the money that we're paying is marketing. But because Enagic doesn't advertise, they don't have any upfront cost. Because we're doing the marketing right now, what if nobody buys? How much money did Enagic spend? $0. So there's no risk. We're doing the marketing for them, and then the commission is only paid after the product is sold. That's why they've been able only to produce based on the demand. That's why it's a debt-free company. Because they usually, have you ever started a business? Do you know how much it costs to market your product, to let people know about your product? And you gotta pay that up front, and then if you sell enough product, you get your money back and possibly a profit. That's like any other business out there. Here, there's no risk. Like, the marketing is free. It's people telling other people. It costs $0 to the company. They cut out all these steps that usually any business has: manufacturer, reps, wholesale, retail, marketing, all that stuff, because we do all of it for them. But it's also risk-free for us. What if I tell Thomas about the water and he doesn't buy? How much money did I spend? $0, right? So it's good for them and it's good for us. That's why this is one of the best programs out there. Next one. And here is the reason why they're able to pay that much commission. Because we deal directly with the manufacturer, it goes directly to the consumer, and we broke the deal, right? Next one. Okay, here's how it works. I'm gonna go through this super fast. So when you get a unit, and like Daniel said, you're gonna get one, right? You're already paying for bottled water, like that's, after you see the presentation, you can unsee it. Like when you go to the store, you're gonna think about it, right? So you're gonna get one. So when you get one, the company gives you a distributor ID number. And listen to this, you have global distribution rights, which means that with buying one product and no other expenses, you can sell products across the globe. You know, have you ever tried to sell a product in another country? You gotta open a company there, you gotta pay someone, you gotta pay taxes there, it's not easy. Like, I travel all around the world, it's not easy. Here, you buy a machine here, you can sell all over the world, and you get paid by Enagic USA. The company has all the structure to do that for us. How great, that means this business is scalable. I have like thousands of people in Italy. I'm gonna show you my story in a little bit, right? And I live here, right? So when you first get the machine, they give you an ID number. So now, every time you tell someone about it, they pay 8 points of commission, and they pay from the bottom to the top. So the first person that gets the commission is the person who makes the sale. And based on how many points they get, what's left over goes up. Why is this important? Because Gio, as a busboy, no following on social media, no money in the bank account, who's gonna believe me when I sell a product? Nobody, right? But the company said, what if we pay other people to help Gio every time he makes a sale, right? Because it's different. If I go play basketball and I've never played, they pass the ball to me, I'm gonna lose it. But if I go play basketball, they pass the ball to me, and then I pass it to Michael Jordan, he's gonna score a few, right? And the company's paying Michael to play with me. That's Enagic. Is it crazy, right? The company's paying other people to help me make a sale, which means when I first start and I'm a 1A, someone asks me a question, I'm like, I don't know, talk to Michael Jordan, I'm not the play. That's how I build my business. right? I bring people here, people ask me questions, I'm like, talk to that sharp guy, talk to that sharp guy. I don't know what I'm doing, right? And that's how I build my business. That's the magic of this program. You're in business for yourself, but you're not alone. There's people helping you. You know how much it costs to have a coach helping you close your deal? Like, go out there, hire a coach. Here, you have to pay $0 because the company pays people to help you. And I think that's the magic of this program. So when you first make a sale, you make 1 point, and then the rest goes above you based on what rank the people that brought you in are. But you need that because you want to pass the ball to Michael Jordan. That's a way easier way to play the game, right? So the second sale, you make $350, right? The third sale, they double your commission. I worked in the restaurant for like 6 years. They never even raised my pay of 50 cents. Like here, I got a raise after my third sale, and they're helping me do that. They double the money. That's $700. You know how much money I used to make as a coach? $1,200 a month, and that's not included my gas expenses, my meals. It was pretty much a reimbursement, not even a salary, right? So here, you're telling me that I can give someone water, and I can make $702 when they buy? That's crazy. That was life-changing money for me, right? So this is the linear income, and take a look at this. So when you sell 3 machines, it's 350, 350, 700. That's the money that you earn when you sell a machine, and someone is going to help you. But the magic is down here, right? So let's say I sold 3 machines to like Matt, Bob, and Mike, right? And Mike is my third one, and he's like, I really like this water. I'm going to tell my friends about it. And let's say he sells 5 machines, right? He's going to make 350, 350, 700, 700, 700. That's his commission. But because I refer the program to Mike, and they pay 8 points from the bottom to the top, remember? So after he gets paid, I also gonna get 5 checks of $702. That's $3,000. That's what I used to make with 2 jobs, working Monday to Sundays with no days off. And here's you're telling me that if I refer someone and he tells 5 people, I can make the same amount of money. And this is not gonna be easy, by the way. Not everybody's gonna do it. It takes some time, to build. But what did I risk to do that? What if this guy doesn't refer? I don't have any costs, right? If I have a business and we don't make money, I'm losing money. Here, I can open franchises all over the world, cost me $0 to run, I have 0 risk, only if they produce I get paid, but I can open as many as I want. That's the magic of this business. It's like if you could open like 100 McDonald's, right? And McDonald's, I know it's not the healthiest one, but it's a good business to look at, right? Would you open them? And what do you have to do to open a new one? You gotta find a real estate, you gotta invest, you gotta pay millions of dollars, right? Every time you open one. Here's how you open a franchise. Hey, do you drink water? Are you looking for a way to make some money? That's how you open a franchise. What if they say no? You go to the next one. It costs $0. That's what I like about this business because I had no risk. I had nothing to lose. And it doesn't matter. And I make a plan like 5 years, 10 years. Even if it takes me 10 years to figure it out, I'm like, what do I have to lose? I have no risk. I don't have any expenses, right? I'm gonna go fast. So after 10 group sales, and the group sales is the total of your direct plus your indirect. Now you get promoted again. That's what I like about this. You can get promoted, right? And as you move forward, you see you earn more points and the people above earn less. Why? Because you're supposed to be learning something in the meantime, right? You're not supposed to be different than the first guy, right? So now you earn 3 points out of the 8 points, which means if I make a direct sale, I will earn $1,053. That's crazy commission, right? I used to make that in a month as a coach, almost. Now I can make 1 sale, and that's why this is good for people that already have a job and they're doing this part-time, because it doesn't take a lot of sales to increase your income. That's what I like. 1 sale, I can make an extra $1,000. You know how many bills I could pay with this? That helps a lot of people. So that's the 3A. After you get 20 groups in your 20 sales in your group, can you go next one, please? You get promoted again. Now you make 4 points out of 8, right? So now, what's going on? Can you go to the next one? After 20 group sales, now you're a 4-point agent. Look at your commission, 1404. So let's say someone buy the machine from you, and you're a 4-point agent. You earn 1,400, right? Let's say that person goes out and sells, let's say 10 machines. We're gonna make very low number. He sells 10 machines. He's gonna start where everybody starts, 350, 350, 700, 700, 700. That's his commission. But you, because now you're a 4-point agent and that's your 4-point franchise lane, you're gonna earn $1,400 10 times. When I saw that, I'm like, what? Like, how many homes you need to buy to earn that? I don't have, buying a home in California is like $5 million, $4 million, and you don't even make that, because all the expenses, the taxes that you have. Here, you're telling me that I can pay zero money to open a franchise like this, and if that guy sells 10, I make 14 grand, and not everybody's gonna sell 10, it's not gonna be easy, not everybody's gonna do it, but what's my risk? I don't have anything to lose, and I can open as many as you want. Like Daniel always told me, like, you gotta keep shooting, eventually you're gonna hit, and I don't know when you're gonna hit. Some people hit after a year, after 2, after 3, after 4, I don't know. But like Daniel says, like, you're gonna keep shooting, eventually you're gonna hit. And you have zero risk here. Can we keep going? After 50 group sales, you become a 5-point agent. Now I wanna share a story here, because this has changed my life. That was like 7, 8 years ago. When I was a 5-point agent, my mom introduced me to this guy named Arturo. And I didn't know any sharp people, and I used to go to all this meeting, like, all my friends are broke, right? So I asked my mom, and I said, Mom, do you know anybody that is sharp? Do you know anybody that is like doing kind of like network marketing or whatever? It's like, yeah, this guy always invites me to the meetings. I'm like, I want you to go to the meeting and tell him that I want to talk to him. So he introduced me to this guy. We do a Zoom. It was 11 p.m. my time, 7 a.m. his time, or vice versa. We're both in flip-flops, tired, right? And these guys start to pitch me. It's like low-ticket company, this product was like $100. Like, hey, bro, like, I'm the top guy in this company. He told me, and I'm like, how much money you make? It's like $2,000 a month. And it's like, it was one, because with the low-ticket items, I mean, you sell hundreds of products. You're like a superstar. And he was making like $2,000, right? And then they said, what about you? He's like, well, I just started. I was a 5A. I think that month I made like 8 or 9 sales. So I cannot make income claims, but I show him like what I did. And say, what? You just started, and can you show me what you got? And I show him the presentation, and I didn't know how to close, how to do anything back in the days. And I remember I watched the movie The Wolf of Wall Street. Remember it says, whoever speaks last loses. Whoever speaks first loses at the end, right? Remember that scene? Whoever speaks first loses. So I do the presentation, and I get to the end, and I look in the Zoom, and the guy's looking at me, and I'm like, okay, whoever speaks first loses, right? And I'm like, silence, right? I literally did that, and I look at him, he looks at me, I'm like, okay, 30 seconds, 45, and it's like, we're looking at each other, looking down, I'm looking down, like, I'm not gonna lose this one, right? This is a true story. So he was like, after like a minute goes by, and he's like, well, how do I get started? I'm like, what? You wanna get started? I don't know why it worked for me. I mean, maybe it's not gonna work for you. But it's like, yeah, how do I get one of those things? So I'm like, do you wanna, can I show you the other products too? So I show him the other products, and the day after, this guy go to the office in Italy, and he purchased a K, the shower, and the turmeric supplements. Like, yeah, my wife is gonna love this. This is a product that we need to have, right? And that was like 8 years ago. That guy now is responsible for like over 10,000 sales, and I met him when I was a 5A. Can you imagine that? Right? All I did is I asked my mom, do you know anybody? She introduced me to this guy, and I don't know when you're gonna find yours, if you're gonna find yours, but all you have to do is talk to more people. Eventually you're gonna meet the right ones, right? And I cannot share the commission, but think about this. Let's remember when the guy made 10 sales, right? He made 10 sales in 1 month. Multiply this by 10, what that's gonna do for you. That was more than I was earning in 1 year, working every day at my job. Can you believe that? And I know we cannot make income claims, and again, this is not easy. I've been doing this for 10 years now, so I've learned the skills. I didn't get rich right away, and probably you will not get rich right away too, but this is a really good program because you have no risk, right? How much did it cost me to open that franchise? $0. What if the guy doesn't sell? Next, I open another one. I have no risk, nothing to lose. Does it make sense so far? Okay. Next one, after 100 group sales, you become a 6-point agent. Now you earn 6 points, and only 2 go above. So now you're supposed to be the Michael Jordan. People are gonna pass the ball to you, you gotta score some, right? Because now you have 100 people. And look how much money you make, $2,100 for 1 sale. That's crazy. You know what? Like in any network marketing company, if you wanna earn $4,000 to $5,000, and I know all of them, I know all the top people in all the companies right now, for them to make $4,000 to $5,000, $6,000, they have to have hundreds of clients buying the products every single month. Check Enagic. Like, let's say you're a 6A, and for some reason, all your franchise is not gonna work, which is very rare, but let's say none of them works. Like, nobody's doing anything, right? And I'm a 6A. If I sell 5 machines in a month, multiply 2,100 by 5, what's that? 10 grand. And I had to sell 5 products, not 500, not 5,000, 5 products. That is crazy to me. When I saw that, I'm like, this is the best program I've ever seen. What else can you make 10K with 5 products? And again, it's not gonna be easy, but you have the whole support here. The help. If I did it with no experience, barely spoke English, like anybody in this room can do it. And I'm gonna show you another story before we close it out. So, and this is what can happen. Again, my results are not typical. You know, not everybody reaches, but like also I was not, you know, a guy that was supposed to make it. So when say, oh, no, only a few people make it, that's not true, because I was the guy with 0 chance in this business, and now I'm here today. So I'm the proof that anybody can make it in this program, because it's a good program. But a year ago, I met a guy on Instagram. This guy reached out to me and he's like, hey, I want to do this business. How do I start? And I show him the plan. He's like, okay, I want to get the KA. And he got a couple of products, right? So in my 6-point lane, that's 2,000, whatever, right? Let's say $4,000 commission for 3 products. That's already really good. Someone hit you up on Instagram, and then they buy, and then they pay you that. You know how many hours I had to work for that? But that's not the money. So that guy, the second month, and again, this is not typical. It doesn't happen every day. I'm just letting you know. But this guy, the second month, made 25 sales. He's in London. 25 sales. I mean, look at that. Like he made 350, 700, 700, and he was like, dude, like this is more than my full-time job. And I was like, bro, keep going, because I was, you know, I was like, keep going, bro. Like I actually flew to London. I support my people. You know, I flew to London 8 times in 8 months after these guys had started crushing it, right? But can you imagine getting like 25 overrides in this lane? You know, we can make income claims, but this is possible. You know, that's not easy to do. But what do you have to lose? How much did I invest? It's the same thing. I didn't risk anything. So that's the compensation program. And I know I'm pretty much done here. So after, and before we go, is there any 6As here in the room? Any 6A or above? Can you guys stand up? Please, real quick. I just want to recognize all the 6As in the room. I remember going to those meetings and I'm like, what? All of these people are 6As? Like, how did they do it? Right? Can you give a round of applause to all the 6As right here? Ask them, I know we're short of time, but ask them during the lunch, how many did they have to sell personally to become 6A? That's the magic. I only sold 20 machines when my group hit 100, so you don't have to sell 100, right? And yeah, keep going. We're almost done here. I'm gonna pass it back to Daniel. There's incentives, bonuses. We're not gonna go through that. So once you achieve 6A, that's your diploma. You just got your diploma in this company. Like, that's when the real work begins. Because every lane now that you open is a 6-point lane, and they give you bonuses like for yourself or to help your people. Keep going real fast. Can you guys move to the next one, real quick? Yeah, when you help 2 people become 6A, you become 6A too. So they give you a $6,000 bonus, and you're eligible for monthly and quarterly bonus. This is crazy, because the company incentivizes you to help other people, and that's why I'm here, because other people were incentivized to help me, right? Other people were paid by the company to help me. So look at that. You know, there's more ranks, -2, -3. You know, like you can learn all those ranks. We're not gonna go through it. Can you go real fast? Next one. There's different ranks. You're gonna learn all about this. There's a lot of people in this, but look at this. There's only 15,000 6As and above all over the world. That means the market is untapped. And I remember when I started this, they told me, hey, you know, there's nobody in Italy doing this. We built the #1 team in Italy, one of the top teams in Europe. We have like 15,000 people now on our team. Can you believe that? Right? And we're just getting started. Like, people need to learn about this. So, yeah, I'm pretty much done here. I'm gonna pass it back to Daniel. And I wanna say thank you to Daniel, because everything I've learned from this guy. He's the guy you wanna listen to, so he's a legend.
All right. When I met this guy, I mean, he was not sharp. He was not, we'll do that in the end. When he wasn't sharp, I couldn't understand him. Now look at him. He's sharp. I still can't understand him. Anyway, what are we doing here? We need to eat, aren't we?